Want to have a prosperous year. We all want to have good luck and fortune come to us.
Lunch.
Something totally different was about to begin, and we were going to be in the thick of it.
Hello world, I've been waiting for a chance to see your face. Oh, hello world, I am ready for a different kind of place, and I'm flying to somewhere else, 'cause I'm searching for something else, and I'm leaving. I don't know where I'm gonna land. Oh no, yes, I'm leaving. I don't know where I'm gonna land.
Welcome to Travelers in Ghana. I'm Michelle.
I'm Patrick.
And I'm Foster.
We're here on the Gold Coast of Africa. Rich harvests of ivory and gold brought international traders to this region as far back as the 15th century.
37 castles like this one line the coast of Ghana. They were built to protect the trading posts set up by European traders. This is the Cape Coast Castle, and below are the dungeons used to hold slaves from all of Africa before they were sent off to Europe.
Now we're in Cape Coast for the Ogu Ofetu Afashe. Priests and priestesses will make offerings to 77 deities to bless the new fishing season. Then it's time to celebrate the Festival of the Chiefs.
Ofetu Afashe is a great day for the people. It's a festival.
Since we were going to watch the ritual, we had to bring some offerings. They were my chickens, the schnapps, and we stood there, and the chief of the fishermen just came and yanked it out of my hands and just threw it on the ground.
There's your offering.
I wanted to give those to you anyways. And what they started was a kind of prayer session.
It begins with the offering of drinks, a libation they call it. It's sprinkled on the ground and on the fire. And then the real ceremony begins. And it's unlike anything I've ever witnessed in my entire life. This call and response, the chants that begin, start to build, and it's a joyous occasion. We're asking for a blessing, and that's the difference. It's still a happy celebration, and we're asking for a prosperous year. It's just the way that they go about asking for that year is what I wasn't prepared to see yet.
A big part of the celebration is that the priests and priestesses will make a bowl of medicine. And what it is a blessing that they will later pour into the sacred lagoon to initiate the new year or the new day of fishing season.
We moved to another side of the grove where there's this small thatched hut, and they've already prepared this bowl of water with some leaves in it, and they proceed to pour some schnapps in.
A chicken is then pulled up, and some feathers are taken from it, and it is placed in the doorway and sacrificed.
He grabs the chicken, tilts its head back, and cuts its throat, I think. I couldn't watch then.
The blood is then sprinkled around the leaves in this doorway, and then it's thrown aside. And depending on how it actually falls, that's a signal to them about how the gods are responding to their offering. Depending on how it responds, another chicken is then sacrificed. And in this case, another. Each time a new reading, if you will, is taken about the response from the gods.
I was half fascinated by it and half kind of just pretty shocked at what I was seeing.
And it really affected me for some reason. I don't know why. And I think what finally got me was when I saw them start bringing the goat towards the hut. I said, you know, check, please. I'm done.
And before I knew it, I was sucked into it. I was suddenly a part of it. I was suddenly in this ceremony in which they wanted me to help with the sacrifice, and that I knew I wasn't ready for. Goat is actually lifted up and thrown over the right shoulder. And again, the same reading. How the goat falls tells them how the gods are responding to their offering. I think everything went fine. I think the gods were pleased. That was the end of the sacrifices.
People worship differently, and there are different ways to worship. But if you think about it, we all want the same thing. We all want to have a prosperous year. We all want to have good luck and fortune come to us. And it's just another way of acknowledging that. I guess you really have to kind of set aside your fears or set aside your shock and go, this is the way that they practice their rituals and their beliefs.
The idea behind this ceremony is, of course, to bless the lagoon, to bless the fishing in the area. It's a harvest festival. So what they're asking for is a better harvest. And this bowl of blood and water and earth, and of course, their prayers is carried out of there amidst all the pomp and circumstance that you could possibly imagine. The crowds are just parting like the Red Sea to allow them to come in. And all the way down the road, through thousands of people, to the lagoon.
The month before Fethu Fashe, there is a fishing ban. No one is allowed to fish, and in that month, the lagoon is allowed to replenish itself. Today is when the lagoon will be reopened and the new fishing season will begin.
And one member goes out and just walks out into the water with his arms spread wide and just sort of falls into the water and retrieves a staff that's been placed out in the water and comes back. And more prayers are said over the bowl, and then finally, the entire thing is cast into the water. And this is the blessing. This is the hope for a better future for them, a prosperous year, a better harvest for them, and immediately they cast the nets. Immediately there were fish in the nets, so I can only hope that it was a better year.
This would be considered a fairly typical village.
And then I came across something I have never seen before in my entire life.
Something really wonderful about the Ghanaian people.
And it's a mud hut village. I mean, all of the walls are made of packed mud bricks and thatch roofs.
This would be probably considered a fairly typical village, although it's a bit small. There are only about 40 houses here. Most villages would have closer to 100.
And what I still just love is the fact that all of these kids came up to greet us and just started playing with us. Very open, very warm, very friendly, very eager to see whatever we were doing.
Whatever it is that I did, they just followed along. And it was fun because it was a way for us to kind of just get into this community, this village, or really they just came out to us and kind of went, oh, who are you? What are you doing here? We told the kids that Patrick's nickname was French Fry.
What's his name? French Fry. French Fry.
It's really neat to be the stranger sometimes. We're the bizarre ones. We're the ones that they're going, ooh, what are they doing?
And then I came across something I have never seen before in my entire life. A bamboo orchestra. An entire band that plays nothing but instruments made of bamboo.
This orchestra is more than a pastime for the people of Messina Grove. It's a way to keep people from leaving their village for the economic opportunities a larger city might have to offer.
And the young people are the most likely people to leave. And when they do that, then there's no way to pass down the traditions. There's no way for parents to keep farming their farms because they've lost their workers. So keeping young people in a village is one of the biggest problems that faces a country like Ghana for their development.
They're going to invite some of you to dance with them.
Okay, what am I doing?
Bismarck Amoah left this village to seek his fortune in the capital city of Accra. But he missed his home and he returned to help revive this musical tradition that had nearly died out.
We are in a village that is called Meso Mago. And the name actually means I alone can perform. So the name is an indication that, in fact, this traditional musical form did spring from this very area. And it brings economic opportunity back to the village because anytime they go somewhere and perform, people will give donations. And anytime people come here and see them perform in their own village, they'll also get donations. So that the community as a whole has really benefited from this.
They really wanted us to sing along with the music.
She said the words to this song, and we were supposed to repeat it after each word. We were totally lost.
Now you got it? The word.
No.
You got it?
Go, Michelle.
It's okay. I bet you that let's put it down.
We butchered the language, is basically what we did.
Now let's try to sing it.
Oh, man. I was so lost. I was so completely lost. I would go, yeah, maybe they're not looking at me. Maybe they can't hear what I'm doing.
I had a blast with the bamboo orchestra, and hopefully they'll remember this visit with Foster, Michelle, and French Fry.
Very good.
Something really wonderful about the Ghanaian people is the way they carry things. And they use their head not only for thinking, but for carrying. And they will carry anything and everything on their head.
I can't figure out why it doesn't fall off her head.
I think it's because, see, they start when they're young like that, see?
I want to see you do it.
Okay. Do you need that?
Okay. Come on, Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, now put it on Michelle.
I want to
I'll
try
catch
this.
it if it falls.
All right.
I've been wanting to
Wait,
try
I'll
this.
take that. We'll take this. Here we go.
Okay.
Here you go, Michelle. All right, now we got to catch it if it goes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's heavy. Okay.
We're ready, Michelle.
All right, hold on. Hold on.
You hold on.
Okay.
You leave it.
Oh, hold on.
You can't hold on, Michelle.
Okay, hold on.
Let it go.
She doesn't look too happy.
Oh, she's scared for all of her things.
You don't trust me? And they start when they're children? So you started when you were a kid?
Oh no, I just tried.
Just now?
No, I can do it. It's a matter of just practice.
Must be that flat head.
No.
Oh, you just sent that to him,
You could just sit in the front seat with Swayze.
It's when I took that very first step and heard it creak. I started thinking, oh boy.
Isn't it amazing to think that you're going to eat something that could actually bite you back?
Next.
We decided to take an excursion to Kakum National Park, which is this rainforest in the middle of Ghana. And the big attraction of this park is this canopy walkway that they have.
The canopy walkway is a series of suspension bridges that are elevated to a height of about 120 feet.
That first step's a doozy.
But it's when I took that very first step and heard it creak and heard it give, I started thinking, oh boy.
Oh, I love that sound. Whoop, 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 whoop.
There are only a few of these canopy walkways in the world, and Ghana has the only one in Africa. People from all over the world came to help design it and build it and actually maintain it so that here in Kakum National Park, you have a way that you can actually walk through the rainforest, but actually above the rainforest.
Come on, Patrick.
I have to tell you, it's an intimidating sight because you're looking at 200 feet of the most narrow rope and wooden ladder, and I got to cross it. And now suddenly you take one step on it and it shakes and gives with you.
Hey, I'm pretty high up.
But at the same time that you're so frightened, you're fascinated because you've never felt anything like this before. There's an incredible adrenaline rush when you're out in the middle, and the walkway is actually matching the rhythm of your walk. Whatever you give to it, it's giving it right back to you. And you're riding this wave from one end of the walkway to the other. It's a truly exhilarating feeling. But at the same time, I was happy to touch the tree.
No problem. Come on.
They only allow one person at a time on the walkway. So unfortunately, you have to watch the person ahead of you. That's not a good thing. But when you're standing there in the middle of it, and you look at the incredible view, something that there's no way you could match, by being at treetop level and seeing all of the park around you. It's an amazing sight. It's beautiful.
It's really great. I made it.
Yes, you did.
All right.
Moving on.
You first.
We're going to keep the same order?
You survive that, then I'll come right behind you.
What's your first step?
See, it's a Lulu. Here I go. Lulu. She makes it all the way over.
You know we'll make it over.
Hello.
Hello.
The thing that I like the most about this walkway is its tree friendliness.
The canopy walkway is a living system, which means it fully depends on the trees that make it up, and the trees are still living. So great care was taken to make sure that absolutely nothing injured or put any of these trees at risk. You can see that there are spacers between the platforms and the trees, and there are spacers between the ropes and the trees so that the ropes don't rub against any of the trees. No nails or bolts were put into any of the trees because any little thing could risk the health of those trees. And if any one tree is at risk, everything else would be at risk as well. Conservation International was asked to come and work with the Ghana Wildlife Department to help protect Kakakum National Park. And the way that we see the best possibility for this rainforest to be protected is through ecotourism. And that's why we've built the Canopy Walkway. Tourism provides protection for the rainforest, and it makes it an economic alternative to cutting it down.
Has this been successful in attracting researchers, tourists?
Absolutely. This rainforest had less than 400 visitors when it was first conceived of, and since that time, last year we had over 20,000 visitors to the rainforest.
I don't think you realize until you're on the Canopy Walkway what you're missing until you're there. From the forest floor, you have no idea what you're missing. When somebody gives you this elevator and shoots you up into the heavens and you're looking down and you're seeing all kinds of things that you've never imagined, then that's when you appreciate the Canopy Walkway.
So come on, you promised me lunch today. You're starving. I was starving to death. And we drive down the road and Kwesi says, I have just the thing for you. Let's get out and have a local dish.
What's that?
What's that cooking right there?
That's, this particular one is a grass cutter. That's a sort of bush rat.
Ooh. Bush rat?
Yeah. Ooh. You want to taste it?
Yeah.
But don't can hit.
No. Is this something that people normally eat?
Yes. You can have this.
Now
This,
you're eating it,
the gizzard.
That's the gizzard.
Yeah.
Bush rat gizzard.
Yeah.
Don't look. Close your eyes.
Oh, eat the whole thing. Come on, eat the whole thing.
Close your eyes.
What is a gizzard? What is a gizzard?
It's an organ of some kind.
Yeah.
Just eat up.
I can help you.
Here. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What's it taste like?
What's it taste like?
Gizzard. Hey, what do they really look like? I mean, that just looks like a pan. Oh, hey, that's a bush rat, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's a bush rat?
That's what I was eating?
Yes.
It looks like a rat. I mean, it looks like a big... You ate a big rat.
I ate a big rat gizzard. That's what I ate.
You know what? It's not the aftertaste in my mouth. It's the aftertaste that's in my head because I just ate a rat.
But it's a rat. I thought you were just kidding me. You know, when you said grass cutter and bush rat, I thought it was like a nickname, but
no.
That's a rat.
That's a bush rat. It's different
hens, rat.
Rats are different.
A rat. Hair and feet and big old teeth and all. Yeah, you know what? I know I'm full. I'm full. Thanks. Thanks. You and me, you buy me lunch and pizza.
He's picking up the innards over there for you.
Pizza. Thank you.
He's going to make an innard salad.
Did you look at the face on this guy? You know, you ate part of him.
I don't really like to know what I'm going to have anymore.
And
Thank you
fresh stock over
so
there.
much for my bush rat, my taste of it. Thank you. Midasi. That's what I say.
Midasi.
No carry out for me.
We'll be back in the van.
I was frightened. I was overwhelmed because it's just too much. It's too different. It's too scary.
Had a real tough early season.
Military support for the chiefs. And this particular Suffolk company was having a ceremony because they were installing a new Queen Mother. And so we were there on a very special occasion, not only because of Fettu Fashe, but because a new queen, a new chiefess, was coming into power. They're waving muskets in the air. They're shooting them randomly.
And all of a sudden, right behind me, the biggest explosion goes off and actually shakes the fillings out of my mouth. I hit the ground so fast. There was no time that elapsed from my standing to my being down on the ground. And I was so scared. I was positive that I was shot.
What was that? What was that that just made me deaf?
What did you find out?
I can't hear. I don't know.
So why did he say, what was that? That was just a celebratory fire?
It's a signal for the rest of the neighborhood that the parade's about ready to start. So the procession's going to leave here, and we're actually going to go to the grounds. They're lighting fires, they're dancing, they're having a party all night long. That was just a signal to get ready. This party's about to start.
What?
See what I mean? Yeah. And it's so loud and so nerve-wracking. And yet that's part of the excitement of this night, is to make that noise, to feel that passion. You never know where this noise is coming from, how close it's going to be to you. And you spend the whole night jumping. You spend the whole night just looking for it to happen. And the minute you start to let your guard down, boom, it comes up right behind you again.
This seems to be a very serious ceremony. Why did we have that really fun part where they allowed us, myself and Patrick and Michelle, dance along with a lot of other people that obviously weren't part of the company?
During such occasion, when the Asafo leader, that is the new installed chief, when she starts dancing, it's an open invitation to everybody to join, celebrate her glory.
We were so close to the fire that we're getting burned, that the embers are catching our hair on fire. Guns are going off all around us, and people are pushing and shoving just because there are so many people all trying to do the same thing we're doing. They're all trying to show us and be part of the festival. That it's almost threatening now.
I have no hearing left.
Just about reached my limit of that.
I have no hearing left. What?
Yeah.
What?
Tuesday.
What?
Wow.
I've never been around so many various people just marching around, waving guns wildly in the air, arguing with people, dancing and waving the muskets. It's that guy again.
At midnight, we were told the new Queen Mother would jump the bonfire, and this was going to be a final rite of purifying her spirit, and she would be accepted as the new Queen Mother. Well, midnight came and went, and she was still dancing along with everyone else around the bonfire. And that's when we find out that she had another option. She could either jump the bonfire or buy everyone drinks. And it looks like she chose option 2.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was frightened. I was overwhelmed. I was really suffocating in all of it because it's just too much. It's too different. It's too scary. was thrilled, I was fascinated, and I was excited.
I went to a traditional kente weaving shop, and I met the owner, Mr. Tenkaran.
It's a cloth that is used during occasions. It was meant for the chiefs, the kings, and the traditional heads of families. Yeah, they were allowed to wear kente.
He was telling me that the man who originally made kente cloth sat down under a tree and watched a spider make its web. And that's how he came up with the idea for kente cloth.
It is made in strips, then after it is sewn together so you can see the joinings. Yeah.
And I'm watching them do this, and they're like weaving this back and forth, and they're making just a tiny little section in such a long period of time. And it makes me understand why this is such a treasured cloth. This cloth, this very intricately woven, very colorful cloth, has specific meanings for each pattern.
This one is called Ehia Kotri Ajimai.
Whoa, okay, let me try that one.
Fa Ohia.
Okay, Fa Ohia.
Fa Ohia.
Fa Ohia.
Kotri Ajimai.
Ajiman.
Yeah, if you rest on him, he will help you. Yeah, this is the Fatia Fata Nkrumah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say that one again.
Fatia Fata Nkrumah.
Fatia Fata
Nkrumah. Meaning Fatia, the wife of the first president of Ghana, befits him. The name for this is Uni Penyinea Die.
Whoa, okay.
Uni Penyinea Die.
Uni Penyin Nia A
Die.
Die.
Meaning if you don't have an elderly person in your family, sorry for you.
If I don't have an elderly person in my family, sorry for me. All right, you show me how to put that on me?
So much and that's you.
And so this is it?
Yeah.
All right. Am I looking stylish?
You are.
Yeah? What do you think? Huh? Huh? All right. So I hold it up.
Yeah.
And I walk off majestically?
Majestically.
All right, so off I go. I'm going off. Goodbye. Goodbye. My adoring fans flocked to me and then proceeded to laugh at me as I walked down the street. So I think I was a big hit.
During this festival, one of the prouder moments comes in the procession of the chiefs. Each group gets together and they have what's called a palanquin, which is like a raft with a bathtub on top of it. And the chief sits inside this and is paraded around on the heads of 4 or 5 of his group. And they carry him.
Following them were these guys with big drums on their heads. And as they came down, they started drumming, and once again, the guns started going off, and you saw people dancing with flags, men and boys, in what looked like grass skirts, and they had these flags, and they were swinging them around in these elaborate ceremonies.
The thing about the procession is that everyone comes dressed in their finest clothing. The people who are watching the parade are dressed very beautifully, and the people who are part of the procession also don on different types of costumes.
Well, the turnout of the chiefs in palanquins give the people the assurance that they belong to one particular traditional area and that they have identity. They always want to be very proud of what they have, and they want to exhibit their culture to the public. And so the people were very enthusiastic about their chiefs being carried in palanquins because they belong to a traditional area, and they are proud.
I was fascinated and I was excited. But this was the first time I thought I might actually get hurt. Their desire to celebrate their way is so overwhelming that you start to even see fights break out. You start to see that excitement turn to anger, turn to violence, because suddenly someone's not letting you celebrate the way you want to celebrate.
I was scared of what someone was going to do with a gun. And I'm thinking, any point in time, that's going to go off and shoot me.
There are just so many people around, and you're kind of swept away in the crowds. And Foster, Patrick, and I tried to stick with one chief or one part of the procession, but we constantly found ourselves just getting swept away by the crowd. All right, you got him. All right, good. Not too hot.
You did lose me. Every celebration that you ever encounter, you're making noise, you're having a good time, and you're telling the world how you're celebrating. But somehow that kind of aggression and the passion of the people who are celebrating, it tends to make it a little frightening sometimes. You know, they say that travel can change a person. Some more than others. Oh!
Wow, this is uniquely Ghanaian.
Wow, I love your outfit. It looks so colorful, so
really nice.
And
so good on you.
Authoritative? Am I a ruler?
In your own mind, yes.
Ah, yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You fit right in, that's for sure. Right in the procession.
Oh, man. Don't even start on the procession.
How'd you feel?
It was scary.
See, now, I felt that way when we first got here and we witnessed the animal sacrifice and that part of this festival. It's part of their religion, and it's part of what they believe, and I can accept that. But I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know how to react.
I really couldn't deal with it about halfway through it. I was watching this animal be killed, this other living thing, and it just was far too much for me, and I had to back away from it.
Standing there on the street last night, it's pitch black.
Yeah.
There are people all around you. And 2 feet from the back of my head, the biggest explosion went off, and you disappeared. What happened?
I thought I was shot. Boom!
Oh, I know.
All night long.
Did you ever get used to it?
No. I'm like this. Like this. All day. Then, the next day, gunshot after gunshot, and I jump every single time.
The people are fired up about partying,
Yes.
about celebrating, about having a good time and coming together and worshiping their God.
But have you ever been that fired up at a party?
No. I mean, I'm Catholic. I sit down in my pew. I kneel when I'm told. And I listen to the man on the pedestal, you know, while he talks. Here, everybody is in a frenzy to get their passion in, to get their spirit involved. And that's what really just, you know, set me back, because I've never seen such an intense way to celebrate.
So we'll see you next time on Travelers. Foster, you gonna take me shopping? Come on.
Bye.
Bye-bye.